Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful 12th of December, 2023. Coming up at this Tuesday's Rant with the Crusty Canuck. Yours truly. Topics will be cow farts and a possible tax thereof. Yes, and the conservative filibustering that happened last week. And the liberals cry out because they had to work extra hours. Oh, poor fellas and fellettes. Anyhow, listener view discretion is advised because I do like to swear and smoke cigarettes. Please stay tuned. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. Yes, this Tuesday, of course, cow farts and possible tax, conservative filibustering, and liberals cry. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. If you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. And because of what I'm hearing about certain shadow banning and all this stuff, double check your notifications to all my subscribers on YouTube and Rumble, especially. Well, more or less, especially YouTube. And check that notification bell when something new comes your way. And double check to see if you're still subscribed or not, too. Apparently, I've lost about 56 subscribers already. Interesting, eh? What's going on? Are people not liking my words? Were they bored with me? Or are they being censored? Anyway, double check. Like I say, if you're liking to see what you hear, please click like, subscribe, share this content all over your social media platforms. And don't forget to comment too when a new video or podcast comes your way. So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, here we are in episode 248 of the Tuesday Rant. Wrong one. Having some technical issues here. I've had a long day anyway. So, like the title card said, cow farts, right? They're talking about cow farts. Now, I actually heard a bit of a news story today, a bit of a chuckle. Stephen Guilbeault, our beloved environmental minister, Mr. Activist, Mr. I climbed the CN Tower to save some geese. Basically looks like he combs his hair with a fucking pork chop, right? He suggested at COP28 or FLOP 28 there a couple of weeks back, about we have to cut methane emissions to 75%, to save the world, because methane is such a terrible thing. And it's really hurting the Canadian environment so badly because of floods and forest fires and all this burning and climate change and hurricanes and all this chaos. Oh, my God. Even though it has nothing to do with the ridiculous tax they're charging us every time we put gas in our trucks or cars, turn up the heat and actually buy some groceries. But, of course, it's fucking methane. I digress anyway. So there's actually something from, excuse me, the government of Canada's webpage, and I'll just cue it up for you here, ladies and gentlemen. It's basically just a poop show on steroids, how they're trying to justify what the government is doing on our behalf in the name of saving the environment. And like I say, I submit it for your approval, so you decide all on your own. Oh, what's this? Oh, I couldn't share it there. Oh, thought we were going to be censored there for a second, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on here? Oh, here we go. Ooh, interesting. Isn't this interesting? So I'll just read along here with you, and I'm not going to make you suck eggs, but this is from the government webpage. So, news release as of December 10th. Against the backdrop of the Food and Agricultural Day at COP28, the global community is witnessing a pivotal moment in the collective effort to address environmental challenges within the agricultural sector. As world leaders convene to deliberate sustainable solutions, there is a growing consensus of the critical role agriculture plays in reducing emissions and fostering a more sustainable planet. I won't read the whole thing, but methane is generated during the natural digestive process of cows and is released into the air when a cow burps. So just like what we do, every mammalian does this, every mammal on this planet does this. They eat, they fornicate, they burp, they fart, they poo, they pee, all that good stuff. All the stuff we learned as children. And now here's the government trying to make this sound like they're doing us the favor. No. See, there's ways we can contain methane, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I'm not reading this from the article. This is just the stupid article that the government has put out on our behalf. There's ways you can contain methane and use that as a fuel source. Interesting. And I'm not going to quote the Mad Max movie, but they found a way to do that for the sake of entertainment. But, I mean, in reality, you can do this on your own. If you know somebody who's, got a background in propane or gas fitting, whatever. There are ways you can extract methane from dumps and from other places to contain said fuel and use it to your advantage. But we're not that far yet, right? Today, Environment and Climate Change Canada published a draft fourth protocol under Canada's greenhouse gas offset credit system. Now, pay attention. Offset credit system. I'm getting to that. Anyway, this new draft protocol reducing enteric methane emissions from beef cattle, REME protocol, will incentivize farmers to implement changes that will reduce enteric methane emissions from their beef cattle operations with an opportunity to generate offset credits that they can sell. More or less, they're going to be charging farmers for their cows burping and their cows farting. So what better way to sit and skim the barrel for your advantage, or correction, not for our advantage, but for their advantage. All these elitists and these anointed, to quote Thomas Sewell, the anointed who know what's best for you and I. Now, what gets me is that farm animals such as cattle have been domesticated for the better part of 300-400 years or more. Not in this continent, but in Europe as well. And this is ridiculous. Like, sorry, to ensure the offset protocol will be a practical solution for farmers to earn revenue for emission reductions. Oh, okay. So the more they cap and trade cow farts, the government's going to pay them some extra dollars. Ooh, wow. And then tax them on that. Oh, really? Tax them on that. You know, that's the thing. That's what it comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. What I will do, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave this article in my description for you to follow at your own leisure. I'm not going to read any more of this garbage because it's bullshit. It is. It's bullshit because the government, again, is telling us that we have to reduce this and reduce and reduce and reduce. And yet, how many of these politicians have you seen reduce anything? How many times have they traveled across the globe? How many times have they ridden a train or been chauffeured to fine events, you know, like fundraising events, what have you? What a load of crap. Like I said, I'll leave this in the description for you there, ladies and gentlemen. And you decide amongst yourselves. You decide what's good for you. And, you know, like really, we got to give our head a shake here. These are people that are elected to make decisions on our behalf. And they spend the time and money and effort analyzing animal flatulence. Really. I just, wow. You know, they worry about cows farting. They don't want people eating beef. So we're going to have to tax you on the farts. But, you know, we'll pay you if you contain the gas. Like, that's what I get from that. Like, how? You know, how about you just leave us the fuck alone?
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You're back at the Crusty Canuck podcast, the Tuesday Rant with yours truly, Crusty Canuck. Topics, cow farts, and possible tax, possibly. And the conservative filibustering and liberals cry out over Bill C-234, I believe it is. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this content all over the place if you can. Share it once, share it twice, share it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Tell your friends, they tell 2 friends. Just get the word out there too. I've been having some trouble with my podcast host for some reason. Somehow they don't like my my logo. It's too small, so I got to make it bigger for bigger distribution. I don't know what it is, but it's ridiculous. But anyway, I got to sort that out too. But I need you, my wonderful audience out there, and especially my American audience. I'm still receiving a lot of great downloads from my friends in the States. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I really, really appreciate the downloads. I would appreciate some comments too, but if you don't want to comment, that's fine. But thank you very much to my American audience out there who's downloading my show, and my international audience too. You're out there. I know there's some people from Singapore and from the Philippines. I had a couple from Australia there last week who actually downloaded my show. Thank you very much. So please keep downloading, keep sharing this stuff all around. Help us Canucks get our algorithm up there so the government can't screw our pooch anymore. Anyway, like I said, this is episode 248 of the Tuesday Rant. So I'm not going to dwell on this this whole cow farts thing. There's an article here, though, from Brian Lilly from the Toronto Star, or correction, the Toronto Sun, what have you. And I'll read a bit of it here, too, just to let you guys know where I'm coming from here. But it's just ridiculous. Just the logic that these individuals are trying to ram down our throats in regards to saving the world. Oh, because Canada can afford to do that for everybody, right? Yes, we have the economic know-how and the brain power and the manpower to do it, or as Justin would say, the people power to do it, right? So, but here's an article from Brian Lilly. Trudeau targets cow burps and your ability to afford beef. Now, this is one day old. This is from yesterday. And Brian Lilly's quite the political commentator, too, needless to say. Quote unquote, I don't know why they call this stuff hamburger helper. It does just fine by itself. Cousin Eddie says in National Lampoon's Vacation. The joke in that line is that Eddie is so poor, he can't afford hamburger to go to his hamburger helper. Thanks to Justin Trudeau's Liberals, we will soon all be Cousin Eddie and unable to afford beef. At the United Nations COP28 meetings taking place in Dubai, the Trudeau government just announced plans to tackle climate change by reducing emissions from cow burps and manure. It's the latest in a series of climate change announcements made by the Environment Minister Stephen Guilbeault at the Global Climate Conference, and just like the others, it will cost you. The plan is, at this point, is to provide farmers and ranchers raising beef cattle with credits reducing methane emissions. Those credits could then be sold to other companies who need to reduce emissions but haven't done so. The increased cost to you won't be due to the carbon tax being applied to beef cattle, at least not yet, though New Zealand introduced a tax on beef and sheep last year to try to cut emissions, and activists would like Canada to do the same. Such a tax won't apply at this point. Wait for it. But you can easily imagine the Trudeau government introducing one at some point in the future. Instead, the increased cost will come from changing the diets of beef cattle to meet the government's demands of lower methane emissions. There are various ways to lower methane emissions using diet, but all of them will come with a cost. Increasing the amount of corn silage fed to the herd and decreasing the use of hay can reduce methane emissions, as can adding a certain types of seaweed or other types of chemical additives. See, there you go. Right? So I'm just going to leave this in the description too, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me, just to let you know, these are the clowns that are making plans on our behalf. Okay. So I don't really fancy giving cattle I work with seaweed. I don't really fancy giving them any kind of chemicals other than something that's going to help their digestion, bulk them up, fatten them up, give them protein, give them the incentive they need so you can put these animals on the market at a fair price. So the agriculture people in charge, i.e. the ranchers and the people that raise these animals, get a fair price, because it takes a lot of work to raise cattle. And it doesn't matter if you're raising beef, doesn't matter if you're raising dairy. It's a lot of goddamn work. And it just proved to you out there, here are these ass clowns trying to change and alter it again for the sake of the greater good. And how are they helping the greater good? They're making it harder. That's all they're doing. They're making it harder for beef farmers, making it harder for dairy farmers, making it harder for the agriculture industry in this country to get ahead. Okay. Now, I'm curious, what are these ass clowns in Ottawa doing with their beef? Of course, they can afford it, because any one of them anytime is making anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000 a month of our money telling us what to do. Okay. That's what it comes down to. Now, I work in the agriculture industry. I work with beef cattle. I see what they're fed all the time. There's a lot of silage, a lot of chemical. There's something we call micro. It's like a medicine, antibiotics, that kind of stuff to keep them healthy, keep them fit, keep them alive. So when it comes to them going to market, they are ready to go, ready to rock and roll, basically from farm to table. You know what I mean? And it takes a lot of work to maintain those animals, to make sure they're healthy, make sure they're fit, and they're good to go. So the farmer, the rancher that owns them, can send them market with pride and stand by his product. But these ass clowns like Guilbeault and Prime Minister Trudeau, we have to stop cow farts. Oh my God, we have to stop cow farts. What's the world coming to? Oh my God. It's coming a shit show.
Stay updated and follow Crusty Canuck on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Telegram, YouTube, and Podbean. Subscribe today and donate at crustycanuck.ca.
And you're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Tuesday Rant with Crusty Canuck on this 12th of December, 2023, episode 248, Cow Farts and a Possible Tax. and conservative filibustering, and the liberals cry. I'm your host, Crusty Canuck, and one more time, ladies and gentlemen, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this content all over your social media platforms too. Share it everywhere if you can. Send it to your parents, send it to your sister, your brothers, boyfriends, girlfriends, lovers, and people who identify as shoehorns. Please send it all over the place. Help us Canucks get our message out there, get our rhythm out there, get our points of view out there too. And once again, I want to appreciate my American audience. I've had a few more downloads this week. Thank you very much. One more round of applause for you wonderful people out there. And more Canadians are joining in the mix too. Thank you guys. Thanks a lot, eh? You're helping me out big time. Keep it going. Keep sharing it. So like I say, there's been a conservative filibustering that happened last week in regards to government spending. Bill C-234, which basically cuts the tax on farmers and practically everybody else in this country. Now, I'm not saying M-tax. I'm saying the ridiculous carbon tax where the federal government keeps gouging and gouging and gouging and sticking it up us sideways for the sake of their virtue. Here's something from CTV. I don't really like using a lot of CTV articles, but this is probably the only article I've seen that made any sense because you know how the mainstream media is working. Every time the conservatives do something, they think it's far-right politics. They think it's evil. They think it's nasty. Oh, my God, how dare you think of the status quo? And yet CTV, Global Television, and our beloved CBC gets quite the kickback from the Canadian taxpayer. So the people at CTV, bugger off, suck it up, do your job. Shit simple. Okay, so I'll just cue this up here too. And another fantastic article from the fine people at CTV, the virtue signalers galore. That's right. This is about this is what they were doing, the filibustering there. This is from Marathon Conservative Carbon Tax Killing Filibuster Ends After Nearly 30 Consecutive Hours of House Votes. So the Conservative prompted filibuster in the House of Commons ended Friday night after MPs spent nearly 30 hours voting nonstop on the government's spending plans. The Marathon Conservative-led procedural showdown was sparked by the Liberals' refusal to scrap the carbon tax. After both sides dug in overnight and into Friday, MPs made it through all 120 opposed votes on various line items from the supplementary estimates and more than a dozen subsequent government spending items by 11:30 Eastern Standard Time Friday, this past Friday. The saga concluded with a brief applause and hugs across the aisle from bleary-eyed politicians before filing out of the chamber to make what for some will be a long but quick trip back to their ridings for the weekend. Quote unquote, for the past 30 hours, parliamentarians from every corner of this country had been standing and voting and engaged in this House, representing the constituents focused on implementing their vision for a future of this country, Prime Minister Trudeau said before the session wrapped up, while Conservative MPs heckled, "Axe the tax." And we are very pleased to come eventually to the end, the Prime Minister said. Midday, boasting about the progress made so far, Conservative House Leader Andrew Scheer said his party had successfully killed a day of government business. This is one less day that Justin Trudeau will have to implement his destructive agenda, Scheer said. That's what it's all about, while suggesting Trudeau could end it all by retreating from his marquee climate change policy. So more or less, they voted and voted, annoyed the Liberals, didn't really get anything done, but they delayed things, delayed. And of course, Trudeau says, we're not axing the tax. Of course, he's not axing the tax. He's got better things to do. He has to look after his virtue and his buddies at WF and the buddies of Soros and all of his little other interests from China and all these NGOs that make a lot of money from Canadian taxpayers. Okay. So I'm not going to butter up a poop sandwich and call it something else, ladies and gentlemen. That is what the federal government has been giving us. Okay. Now, if you want a more detailed analysis on this filibustering, check out the fine people at Northern Perspective, Cypher and Fox. They have the patience and the time to handle how these videos come out, and they analyze it very, very carefully. So well done on Cypher and Fox. You guys are good people. Check them out if you can. They do some great videos. They're actually going to have a video on tonight, so check out their channel on the tube. And once again, if you like and hear what you see, please click like, subscribe, share this content on your social media platform. You can also find me on Podbean, Rumble, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Player FM too. I'll just put a card up here for you to follow if you like to what you see there. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, which is now X, Instagram, YouTube, and Rumble too. And my new Rumblers out there, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. I got some new subscribers on Rumble. Thank you very much, Rumble. And thank you, my new subscribers on Rumble. You guys are awesome. You guys are really good. Anyway, before I get into more of the whole conservative filibustering, I just want to thank everyone who sent me some kind emails over the past couple of days. Thank you very much. I know you asked me not to say who your names were and all that. I don't want people to think that, oh, I don't want to be associated with that Crusty Canuck guy. But hey, you guys are awesome anyway. So anyway, like I said, this is episode 248 of the Crusty Canuck podcast, the Tuesday rant. There'll be more rants coming next Tuesday, hopefully. It's a special day for my wife. I'll see if I can get an episode through before I spend time with her. But there won't be a polar vortex of BS tonight. I will save that for this Saturday coming too. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Anyhow, like I said, this is episode 248. Cow farts and possible tax. Who knows? It wouldn't surprise me if the conservatives want to tax us, or not the conservatives, the liberals, and conservative filibustering and the liberals cry. More to that too. I remember Karina Gold sitting there complaining about how the conservatives were stopping the free trade agreement with the fine people of Ukraine. And I mentioned this before in my last episode, ladies and gentlemen. They put carbon pricing in that free trade agreement. So the moment you say carbon pricing, you're going to ding them on a carbon tax in the name of the environment. If you want to protect the environment, you should encourage people to grow hemp. You want to protect the environment, we should let our natural gas flow. You want to protect the environment, how about you leave us the F alone, let us do our effing jobs? Hey? Is that common sense? See? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. That's the thing. That's common sense. If we haven't learned anything in the past 8 years, we have an irresponsible government. We have a government that just doesn't really care about you or me. They don't care about the veterans. They don't care about the seniors. Their bottom lines, they care about their virtue and their activism. They don't care about leadership. They don't care about how we pay our bills. They don't care what people have to do to pay their bills. And they keep advocating and keep saying to us over and over again, oh, there's more money coming into your pocket. Really? 200 lousy bucks that come every 3.5, 4 months when people pay carbon tax for gas, carbon tax in their home heating, and carbon tax that are added to their groceries. But they'll sit there and blame the grocers, and they'll blame the truckers. They'll blame the people that ship the food and make the food. Right? They're not going to blame their policies. No, of course not, because they're doing this really good. Think of the arrogance. Think of the arrogance that they promote. Think of the arrogance they keep promoting every time one of those so-called libtards talk. Think of it. Right? Think of how they treat people. When even independent media ask them direct questions, they avoid it like the plague. They don't care. Right? So let's hope this week, before they take their Christmas holiday for a good, 6-7 weeks? God, that must be nice to take 6 weeks off. I haven't had that since my last tour, 2007, when we came home, sorted out some admin, sorted some papers out, and I had about 6 weeks off. That was cool. That was a good time. That was a real good time. But other than that, when I was in the military, we'd have about 3 weeks off for Christmas, 3 weeks off in the summer, and usually a March break. And then the long weekends, what have you. But we earned those because we worked. We worked before and we worked after. So it wasn't like we sat around and had a filibustering ceremony and had the liberals complain because, oh, it's so late. Why are you making us work so hard? Because it's your fucking job. That's why. Right? That's why liberals. That's why NDP. That's why conservatives. It's your job. Okay? It's your job to represent. And as that article said, oh, we're doing it for the constituents. You mean to tell me there's thousands of Canadians out there that want you to tax us on cow farts? There are thousands of Canadians out there that want you to tax us more on gasoline and diesel fuel. There's Canadians out there that want you to tax us more in home heating because they just love the idea of the heat pump. I mean, really, the heat pump is going to be cost effective, even though we're going to freeze our buns off. Because the heat pump was so goddamn bloody efficient, they would have implemented it there about 25, 30, 40 years ago. Right? So the con is on again, and people are buying it. So write your MPs, ladies and gentlemen. I've said this before. Write your MPs. Tell them how you feel. And in a correction too, in one of my episodes, I said, mail your MPs, pay for the stamps. I know it's free to mail your MP. So I stand corrected. I sit corrected. Sorry. Mail your MP. Tell them what the hell is going on. Email, mail, snail mail, phone calls. Enough is enough. Okay. So if they do call an election in the spring, there'll be plenty of ammo for you, me, your family, your friends, my family, my friends, to put these clowns on the spot. And I want to say a special thank you out there to Damian Canuck. He is the MP for Battle River Crowfoot, and he had the guts to stand in Parliament and say, you're a liar to Justin Trudeau and his party. So well done, Mr. Canuck, on that. He was running against me in the last federal election. We had a great talk, though. I met his wife. I met his little kid. And, the man's working class, and he comes from a farming background. So it's obvious why he was pissed. It's obvious he was pissed for very good reasons. Because in this area here, there's a lot of farms. A lot of ranches, a lot of cattle, a lot of corn, a lot of grain, a lot of oil workers. So this riding is a blue-collar fucking paradise. And he did a good job by staying up in Parliament and calling the opposition liars. Because they are. What have they promoted other than their virtue? They've intentionally divided this country. They've intentionally divided people. Even their own voters, even their own voting base, they've divided. To hang on to power. To hang on to that little virtue. So they can keep getting their slap and tickles for your peckles, right? Anyway, enough of this ranting. I have been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 12th of December, 2023. I wish good things for you all out there too. If you own cattle, keep raising them. Feed them the mix that you think is good for them. Don't listen to the government BS. If you're a staunch conservative supporter, stand firmly, right? Because you and I know that the transition has happened the past few years, where you're seeing more conservatives act like proper liberals and more liberals acting like bloody communists. We are the government, ladies and gentlemen, and you and I got to fix that. Plain and simple. So let's do it. Like I said, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 12th of December, 2023. Christmas is coming, so be festive. Don't panic. Take it easy. And do what you can to help each other in these trying times, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back this Saturday as per for another episode where I'll rant and rage again. But please stay tuned. And one more time, if you like and hear what you see, please click like and subscribe. Share this podcast all over your social media platforms too. And please send me a comment. Send me some emails as well. If you want to know something, don't hesitate to ask. All my information, contact information will be in my description. And just say hello, say yay, say nay, whatever you want. Ask me anything you want to do. And maybe next episode, I'll read some emails on my show. That'll be up to you, of course, you want me to do that or not. But please, I encourage that highly. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and give me a comment or two when this show debuts. Anyway, like I said, I've been Crusty Canuck on this beautiful 12th December, 2023. All the best to you coming for this festive season. And let's hope your wishes come true this year. I'm counting my lucky stars as we speak right now. There's some good things coming my way, as far as I know. Let's just hope. And I hope some good things come your way too, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I will see you this Saturday for another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. And all the best to you for the rest of the week. And like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, humanity and merit wins the day. Take care, and I'll see you this Saturday. Bye for now.
Hit it, sweetheart. Because I am hard, you will not like me. Yes, sir. There is no racial bigotry here. Here you are all equally worthy.
This has been another episode of the Crusty Canuck podcast. Stay sane and thank you for listening. From Western Canada, this is the Crusty Canuck podcast.
Nice tush.